That it's a very beautiful and wonderful country.
Indeed, that's true, and the people are beautiful too. But there's nothing you can do. The third form of aging is excess weight. You're dealing with excess weight. After that appear benign tumors and then malignant ones. These are just stages, and all types of aging can be treated through asceticism practices. If someone experiences tension, they need to do prolonged static exercises. Stationary position of the body should be practiced for long periods, along with dynamic exercises like running.
But he can't, both of his legs were broken.
Then he has to move his arms, do exercises with arms. Movement is essential. If that's not possible, he has to go to a sauna and alternate temperatures. Hot, cold, hot, cold.
He doesn't want to hear any of this. He has made up his mind to end his life this way.
Well, my dear, then why are you asking me? What can I do? The only option is to pray for him so that he changes his goal.
Our mother prays for him. He gets angry at her and she has to leave the house. She comes to us and then he calls her again.
If she continues praying, she will reach the first stage, inner peace. Then comes the second stage, having influence over him. Influence means that when she speaks, he will begin to reflect and change.
Some days he does think about changing, but then he drinks again the next day.
Just keep praying. Fate builds up over time. One must be stronger than fate. I had a relative like that who said, I'll keep drinking no matter what, whether you pray or not, but I kept praying. In the end, he developed a condition where drinking made him throw up. He lived sober for 2 years, became clear-headed, and cried about having wasted his life. He eventually passed away in old age. Prayer is still more powerful than fate.
He used to work as a truck driver.
So what exactly is your question for me? You're discussing this situation, but there's nothing more to discuss. If a person doesn't want to help themselves and you don't want to pray, then what else can be done? He is under immense tension, I can see that. He worked hard, and vibrations cause tension. I fly frequently, and tension builds up in my body too. Today I ran 9 kilometers, and it helped me relax. That's how life works. Nothing can change that.
My main question is, should I take the mother away from him or not?
That's the question you should have asked from the start. No need to explain everything in detail. I see the situation clearly. So to answer your question, yes, you should take her away. But only if you can live with her yourself. Her mental state is already fragile. Try it if you feel you can manage. You need to save yourself first before saving others. If you start losing your strength while caring for her, things will get complicated. But I think you and your mother are compatible, and you'll live together just fine.
I'm already losing strength. Whenever things go wrong there, I rush to help her, especially when he becomes abusive.
You should take her away. I have nothing more to add. There's no point in discussing it further. There's a Greek philosopher who said that if you can't change a situation but keep discussing it, it only brings distress.
I know.
Right now, this discussion is just causing more distress. Neither you nor I can change him. This is his choice.
I understood. Thank you very much. Hello. I wanted to ask, you say you can see the past and who we were before.
No, I don't see anything on my own. If the Lord shows me something, I see it. But I can't do it at my will. If someone comes to me and says, tell me about my past life, I can't say anything. I only speak when the Lord helps me assist someone. If it's meant to help the person, I sense what's going on with them. If not, I can't say anything.
Okay, here's my question. Maybe knowing who I was before and who I can become in this life will help me.
What do you do now?
Right now, nothing.
Are you married?
Yes.
Well, that's already good. So you help your husband. What does he do?
He's a versatile man.
What does he do for work?
He's in business.
What kind of business?
It's complicated to explain. I'd rather not say.
All right, I understand now. You're a manager by your nature. You're meant to lead and organize people. That's your nature.
I know, I've tried, but now I can't figure out which direction to take. I have 3 ideas.
Let's list them.
Construction.
No.
Construction design. It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same. Design suits you. If you focus on interior design, that will be good for you. But being involved in construction management is not for you. Interior design and planning, however, suit you well.
Now my second idea seems irrelevant.
No rush. Take your time to recall it. You're just nervous. No need to worry.
Psychology. I'm studying to become a psychologist currently in my first year.
That could be a hobby, but it's not likely to be a career that brings in money. You could use it to help people, though. Now, what's the third idea?
The third idea is more business-oriented. It's about integrating everything into one system that runs independently.
What do you mean by integrating everything?
It's also in construction.
So you want to create a logistical system for people to find what they need?
Yes, here in Moldova.
That will work for you. Design and this type of activity suit you well.
So I should pursue that path? Not psychology?
Psychology should remain a hobby.
I don't see any of these three options as a means to make money.
The first option, design, can provide financial stability.
All right, thank you. Good evening.
No, that's not how it works here. I decide who I will talk to.
I'm sorry.
No, we don't do that here. You don't fight for the microphone or else things could get out of hand. Your question. Let's start with the lady in the first row.
Good evening. I'm starting to feel very nervous.
I'm also starting to feel nervous watching you tug at that young man.
I'm so happy to attend your seminar in person. Last year, for some reason, I couldn't make it. Throughout the year, I listened to you. I'm really grateful for everything because so much has changed. I have a thirst for knowledge, and you provide answers to my questions. I wanted to ask if I could ask 2 questions, one for myself and one for my daughter. My daughter's question is the priority right now.
Does she also listen to my lectures?
Yes, she just started, and she decided to join me here today.
Well then, catch a tangerine.
My daughter has been in love with a boy for 2 years.
That's normal. She's young.
Yes, but she's suffering a lot. He has a girlfriend. He treats her like a friend. And every time they meet.
He's not ready at all. All these meetings are meant for marriage. He's not ready to marry anyone. He hasn't matured as a man. He doesn't understand these issues of loyalty. He just likes it. He enjoys life. He enjoys one girl, then another. This is not a person who can bring happiness. There's infatuation towards him, but he's not capable of marrying either one or the other. Both will suffer. She will suffer, and you will suffer. He's just not ready. He is an immature person.
What should she do? How should she handle it? Because it's very painful for her.
It all depends on awareness. Love, as I've already said, is such a thing that when a person loves someone, they see only the divine in that person. They don't see the human qualities, only the divine, and from this point of view, she sees the purest and brightest in the person. She sees and loves exactly this, but behind this there's a person. And this person who stands behind the divine image that you see won't bring you happiness. I see this person. What do you love about him? He's so courteous, gentle, so kind, so tender. Well, he's irresponsible. He even says something and doesn't do it. He probably won't work seriously or engage in any kind of serious activity. He's a very weak-willed person. He lacks willpower. A man should be strong, strong-willed. He's kind and affectionate, but he doesn't have the qualities that will enable him to protect a woman and make her happy. Therefore, he can't choose anyone now. He's weak. He can't get married either. He will only get married in about 4.5 years. He will marry. And you will get married much earlier, not to this person.
She just wants to go abroad to study.
Well, let her go. It's fine.
How can I forget him?
Forget? You need to learn to pray. Think about God. Holiness, as it's said in the Vedas, is like clouds extinguishing a forest fire. Love for a person is like fire. It burns, it scorches the heart. But when a person thinks about holiness, about God, about prayer, this heat fades. They begin to feel lightness in their heart. You can walk in the forest. Nature extinguishes this fire. You should communicate with good people. If a person sits alone and thinks of it all the time, remembers it, memory excites all this. On the contrary, you need to communicate more with friends. Go to the temple, listen to spiritual chants, listen to lectures, be in nature. You can start running. These are all activities that extinguish this fire. Your heart is just burning, the fire is scorching. It will all fade away and calm down.
What if I let him go, he appears in my life again? Because this has happened repeatedly.
Yes, that happens. If you calm down, become strong, you simply calm down. Then the heat stops affecting you. And naturally, the heat appears in him. You don't need to get involved with him. If he appears again, let it be. Set a condition. If you're taking me in marriage, then we'll communicate. If not, goodbye. Don't even let him get close to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure that even if he appears, he'll disappear again. He's not that kind of person. He's weak.
Thank you.
Have we resolved the issue? Do you feel calmer now? Eat a tangerine, you'll feel even better. It's the blessing of the elders. Sir, you ask. She immediately decided to eat a tangerine, right away.
Good evening. The question is how to understand one's purpose.
A man can always understand his purpose only through activity. If you don't like to work, you won't understand your purpose. You need to learn to love work. If you just start working somewhere, it doesn't matter whether it's your life purpose or not. Then gradually, when you start to enjoy the work, at that moment your understanding of yourself arises. It's like, for example, a car. When it's moving, you can understand how it drives. You need to start it and drive. The body and the psyche of a man work the same way. He needs to start doing something, and then he gradually engages in understanding himself. He begins to understand his nature. Often men think that first they should understand their nature and then engage in something. This is wrong thinking. Moreover, when a man doesn't engage in some activity, he doesn't even develop as a person. He just can't. He loses willpower, self-confidence. He feels like he can't earn money anywhere. He feels like he's helpless. The reason is not being engaged in activity. I would say more. It's even better for man to develop first not in activity, but to start simply doing sports. For any man, the only way to overcome his fate is to set small goals and overcome them. Set goals, overcome them, set, overcome. In order for the male psyche to become victorious, it must begin to live. It means a person who destroys obstacles and overcomes fate. This psyche, specifically male, is that of a person who sees the goal and does not see obstacles. A man then becomes strong. His sense of self-esteem develops very much, and his psyche becomes such that people start to notice him. Women and employers start to notice him. It all depends on influence. There are influential people and there are not. An influential man means that a man has accumulated a lot of love for work, a lot of asceticism practice. He can fortify himself, can run for a long time, and can work out in the gym. He's strong, his psyche is strong. He can overcome difficulties. All this means that first of all, people will start to notice you and you'll have some interesting activity. And secondly, you yourself will begin to understand where you are more effective. Then if you're effective somewhere, you need to work there for a few years. You have to work there 2-3 years to at least feel yourself.
I see. Can I ask something else? I have a job. I work as an information security engineer, and besides that, I've created my own project with auto services. I want to help people find their auto services more easily in our city. It's not a catalog. People get those companies that we have a contract with. They receive a discount coupon if they simply generate it on our website.
In other words, you are an ideologist by nature. You create an idea, work it out, and then implement it in life. You're not a manager. It means you can't create a technological process. You just give this idea and someone uses it. That's what you do, right?
For now, yes.
If you want to do something of your own, you need to find a manager, a person who will recruit people, manage them, punish and fire. You can't do this. You can create an idea and promote it.
I see. Thank you.
Now the lady next to you.
I have such a question. I've been listening to you for a long time. I've made a lot of mistakes in raising my son. Everything was wrong.
You need to calm down by means of prayer. Until a person is calm, they cannot overcome fate. You need to calm down first. You feel broken, not calm, but broken. You need to pull yourself together. Gather strength in prayer. First, a person must gather strength.
I'm taking steps in this direction. I'm trying. The question is this. I understand that my love is spoiling him.
Don't touch her, don't touch her. Mom, don't touch her. Let her sit calmly. I feel that you're not bothering her now. She's calmed down even more. Let her listen to me.
The question is, if I understand that I shouldn't call him and give him so much, why is it so difficult for me to restrain myself?
Because that's how this world is designed.
Well, it's very difficult.
Because that's how love works. It's very difficult for everyone. It's very difficult for her too. When there's love, it's the greatest force in this world.
Nothing interests me, except for everything to be all right with him, you understand?
This means love, Faith. It means you believe in your son.
Yes, I believe in him.
You lost yourself. That's it. This is love, Faith. You need to learn to believe in God. Because when you believe in God, you gain a sense of self-esteem, strength. You become strong, capable of helping your son. A young girl becomes beautiful and capable of attracting a worthy person. You need to learn to believe in God. Because if we don't believe in God, we start believing in people. There are people who can't even believe in a person because there is no one by their side. For example, old ladies with no one around. Thank you very much. Be happy. Look at all these flowers. Well done. Here's a tangerine for you. Thank you. Be happy. This is a matter of faith. Right now, fate is destroying you. Your son is now simply indignant with you. He can't stand you anymore because you've smothered him with your love. Simply smothered him. A little more and he will stop communicating with you altogether.
Well, that happens.
I told you about this in the first lecture. That's how love works. When love for a person is ardent, this is love, faith. We want to get from a person what a person cannot give. It's such a very deep energy of happiness. Such a deep energy of happiness. One should simply take care of a person, help them. And how to help your son? Leave him alone. Pray for him. Let him make mistakes. Let him live. The mother wants to control the situation. She doesn't let her son live. Leave him alone. Let him struggle. Let him make mistakes.
For how long do I have to leave him alone?
For life. You need to start believing in God, thinking about Him, thinking about holiness. Don't help me communicate with her. Don't say anything. Let her listen to me. Gradually, you will understand how this world works. The best help for the boy is to let him go. You can simply observe him. If things get really bad for him, he will come to you on his own. Don't think that he doesn't need you at all. If he suddenly has some difficulty, he will come to you himself, definitely. And then act carefully and calmly. Not like, "Oh, son." Just calmly say, "What happened? So they beat you up? Well, there's a court case. It's nothing terrible. Pray everything will be fine with you." Don't create hysteria around boys. Boys should develop in a military environment. It's a struggle for existence. They should fight, win, break, fall, get up. It means don't coddle your sons. Leave them alone. Let them live peacefully.
Thank you.
And then he will become strong, and you will become strong. He will love and respect you, thinking that he has a wise mother. A wise mother doesn't interfere. Even a wise wife should behave exactly the same way. As the song goes, the girl sheds tears of happiness. Her soul sings like a guitar. From her clear eyes, tears fall on the spear. She laughs, rejoices. He goes off to war. This is how a woman's psyche should be structured. She should believe in God, not in her own happiness. One mother sees her son off to the army crying, takes away his strength. This is unfavorable. Another sees him off saying, "Everything will be fine for you. I will pray for you." She gives him strength. This is favorable. She blesses him while the other curses. If she cries, "Oh, where are you going, my son?" "Oh, where are you going? You shouldn't go to the army to be a soldier," she cries. "The army will manage without you. This is not right. This is a curse." Another mother, on the contrary, blesses. Any woman, any mother should bless and believe in her son. Then he calms down immediately, but you are draining his strength. "Oh, how are you? Oh, how are you?" You're simply draining strength from him, that's all. You need to believe in God. You should draw strength from God. He will give strength immediately. You start praying, God gives strength. If you believe in a person, you drain their strength. One doesn't need you anymore, that's it. You have to believe in God. A woman should be self-sufficient. Let him fall in love. He didn't fall in love, then he's not your person. If you fell in love with him, that's it. You've lost the person immediately. You're draining his strength. He doesn't love you anymore. First, he should fall in love, propose marriage. Then you think about it, still date. And then when you're already married, you can fall in love. No problem. He's already yours, your own. You can fall in love. But otherwise, you need to test the person, try him. Don't give him the opportunity to take advantage of you. Don't trust him. Keep your distance. The same goes for your son too. Stay calm. With men, it should be like this. Let him fall in love with you. Let him win you over. Become strong. Believe in God. Take strength from him. Don't take strength from a person. You'll lose yourself, your son. You'll lose everyone. You've already lost yourself. Now you're losing your son. Did you understand everything? Have you been listening to lectures for a long time?
I was listening to another person, then I found you, about half a year ago.
Listen, immerse yourself in this knowledge. Try to understand. Gradually, you'll understand everything. I'm not against other people. The main thing is that it helps you to develop. What have we decided with you?
For myself?
We can ask someone else. Your question.
Good evening again. I'm concerned about my daughter's fate. They've been married for a long time. They've been dating since school. They have a house and a child. And something is happening with them now I can't understand.
It's the same that happens to everyone.
I don't interfere in their life.
We live together. We live, work, and gradually get tired of each other. And when we get tired of each other, there's no love anymore. Then the family falls apart.
He wants to go abroad.
Well, he's tired, that's it. They're tired together. The family's falling apart. I told you about this yesterday. I talked for a long time about how a family falls apart. People fall in love, expect love from each other. They wait and wait. This love melts away. When people wait, it melts, and that's it. It melts away. They live together for some time, and then coldness appears. They think nothing will work out. Coldness appears. But if people are good, cultured, and honest, there are two options. The first option is when people start engaging in spiritual practice together, develop as individuals, start to connect with nature, with people, with God. The ability and desire to care for each other appears. The second option is when nothing appears for them. One is in depression, the other is in depression. That's it. Nothing appears.
That's why they didn't start arguing. I thought they would finish building the house.
She doesn't argue. They don't argue because they are good people. They are good people, but they live incorrectly. So it's easier for him to leave than to argue with her.
He wants to go earn money and finish the house. This is the goal of his life. That's what he says. To finish building the house.
Yes?
Yes, that's what he wants. But my daughter says it's better for him to stay here.
My dear, try to understand. You just need to pray for him. Because he might go abroad to finish building the house. It's right that he wants this, that he says so. But the problem is deeper. The problem is that the connection between them has already weakened. There's not the same depth as before, and that's why you're worried. Your heart is troubled because of this.
I thought maybe there was some cheating.
There's no cheating. I'll repeat once again. It's always the same. Everyone's love fades because of the wrong way of life. People just live together. House, family, work. I talked about this yesterday. Were you at the lecture yesterday?
Yes, I was.
House, family, work, no God. The result, everything fades. This is the law. There's mathematics. 2 times 2 is 4. And there are laws of life. People just live and deplete each other, drain each other's strength. They have less and less energy. They become powerless. No sports, no self-improvement.
No, they do sports.
Well, maybe they've become a bit drained. They don't take care of each other. Don't serve God. Coldness has appeared in their relationship. He might leave and have an affair there. I'm not sure he'll come back. Maybe he will. He's a good person. She's a good person. Maybe he'll return, but he'll return to nothing. There isn't what should be in a family between them. In a family, there should be spiritual life, self-improvement, care, selflessness. All this creates a normal family. At least one of them should start living correctly, at least one of them. 80% of marriages end in divorce. The reason is the wrong way of living. They don't live correctly. This means the marriage will fall apart. You noticed this even before it fell apart. It's just beginning.
Yes, they've only just started arguing.
About 1.5 years ago, these processes began. The cooling towards each other started. You noticed it at the initial stage. The family is still quite strong, it's still quite strong, but the coldness in the relationship is already increasing. The danger of family breakdown is already quite high now. You're right, you have a sensitive heart. You understand, right? You said he wants to go. I understood your question.
But she doesn't want to let him go.
Right, she feels the danger. That's right. But it's necessary to understand what will really help in this situation. Everything's right, but what's next? Oh, everything is bad. Not everything.
That's what he's saying. I'm failing, that's it. I'm failing.
Yes, I'm also telling you that at least you should start praying.
Okay.
Because you can all complain as much as you want. If a person doesn't start living correctly, nothing will change. Everything will be the same, getting worse and worse and worse. There's an illness, there's medicine. The illness is that if people just live like this and they don't have nourishment from above, even if they don't hear it, but at least they should invite friends to their home, help people, feed the poor. Well, they have to do something so that the energy of family egoism stops concentrating more and more on each other. So that some life begins. This family energy should be given to people. They need to live in a way that they don't focus only on each other and their children, but give more to those around them. Even if they do not serve God, but they know religious people, then let them give to people. Because there are people who simply help others and are happy because of it. There are people who simply take care of nature, and even then their family life is good. It's necessary to break free from personal interests that suck everything in. The circle keeps tightening. People become closer and closer. This closeness causes more irritability, more tension, even if the people themselves are very delicate and cultured. They have good qualities. They're intellectual, serious people. But even this doesn't help. They tolerate each other, feeling something is wrong. And they don't understand what's wrong. There's a process of love fading in the family, a natural process. Thank you very much. Be happy. You see, today there are enough flowers for everyone. Well done. You've brought so many flowers. The natural process of love fading. You were at the lecture yesterday. Do you think I'm telling you all this for no reason? I'm telling you about life. Here's an example of yesterday's lecture, right in front of you. I told you how the energy of love fades in a family, why this happens. Because neither children, nor wife, nor sex, nor apartment, nothing will help preserve the family. Only nature, good people, and God can help preserve the family, because all of these give energy to the family. The family lacks energy. People become self-absorbed. Everything fades, strength fades, and then they think, something's wrong with us. Maybe I should go to Europe. Europe is the best idea in life. Europe solves all problems. If anything happens, go to Europe.
I see. Another question. Please tell me. I lived with my husband for 35 years, and he died. But we had divorced before that, and I feel guilty about it.
You had the same thing. You got tired of each other.
I was his wife. I was his friend. I did everything for him.
Yes, that's right. Everything for him, but you should have done everything for people, for God. You became focused only on each other. You did everything for him, But where to get the energy from? You got tired, he got tired.
I consider myself guilty for leaving him.
You couldn't help but leave him. You are a very strong person. It's difficult to explain to you. You were depressed and you couldn't stay with him. You no longer had the strength to live with him. You've just forgotten that state. You couldn't stand it anymore because you were living incorrectly. You were living incorrectly? Same result. You were exhausted in the relationship, and as a result, the family was destroyed. You're a good person. He's a good person. Exhaustion occurred. And he didn't die because he's alive. I see him. He's living just as he lived, only now in a different body. He passed away because he also lived incorrectly. He didn't have enough health. His body became exhausted. He worked a lot, got tired, and his blood vessels started to suffer gradually. He didn't notice it, and then a crisis occurred and he died.
Yes, that's true. What's interesting is that he's been gone for less than a year, and I met a man who is so similar to my husband. All the features and character, but I'm scared.
Because you don't pray. You need to pray. Cleanse your heart. You should have bright memories of your husband. Pray, keep the bright memories of your husband, and then move on with life.
He offered that I live with him. I don't want that yet.
For now, you should pray to cleanse your heart. You're not listening to me. I'm saying pray, and you're saying something else. You have to pray to cleanse your heart because your husband still needs help. And help can only come through God. If you pray, you will give him help. You have such a feeling. I blame myself because I broke up with you. This feeling will go away. People misunderstand everything because they don't understand what reality actually exists there. He just needs help there now, and help can only come from a close person. But the person starts to think, to overthink. Probably because you're dead now, I feel bad, because I did something wrong to you when you were alive. That's how a person thinks. And the reason why there's such heaviness, it's hard to think about him, to remember, because he needs help now.
I go to church. I lit candles on the 9th day.
You don't need to light anything. Lighting candles means you're transferring problems to the church servants. You need to pray by yourself. What are you lighting there? Well, you light and it helps a little, and that's it. You know, it's like shifting the blame from yourself to others. You need to solve your problem yourself. These are your problems, not theirs.
I understand.
You don't understand anything. You are a very educated person. You've heard many opinions, so it's very, very difficult for you to hear me. But I've told you everything I could. I've told you everything I could. I know for sure that this will help if you do it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Be happy. It's very difficult. Knowledge is needed. People need knowledge on how to live. There are system errors. You don't even need to know the details. Everyone has the same problem. You look and it's all the same. We don't know how this world works. I will have a seminar on reincarnation. You need to listen to this because you need to understand how changes occur in human consciousness, what they need after death. It seems that I didn't give enough then, but it's necessary now because they are alive. We need to study what happens to a person. All of this is described in the scriptures. The Vedas are not fantasy. It's science, ancient science that explains everything. The scriptures written 5,000 years ago describe the dimensions of the atom, the speed of light, the structure of the solar system, which is now confirmed. And there's much more that our science doesn't even know yet, including what happens to a person after death. It describes in detail what a person feels when a loved one passes away. What do they feel? They feel that something is difficult for them, something is wrong, and they think it's from the past. No, it's from the present. We need to pray now and help the person right now. People don't know this tool of life, that contact with holiness changes fate. We don't know this tool. We think about what I should do. We solve all issues situationally. What should the wife do? Should she let him go to another country or not? But that's not the real question, because if there isn't enough energy between them to keep them together, he'll leave anyway. Just as you say, I made a mistake because I left my husband. You see, if you hadn't left, you would have started having mental problems. Your sleep was already suffering then, and it would have gotten much worse. You would have stopped sleeping altogether, then stopped eating, then ended up in a mental hospital. The energy goes to a certain negative point, and that's it. People can no longer live together. In their case, it hasn't become completely negative yet, but he already feels he needs to run away. He already wants to leave. And you see, there's no guarantee. He might leave and maybe he'll be drawn back, and this will sort of solve the issue. But there's no guarantee. It might happen that some other woman appears there, attracts him, and this is possible in his fate. And the reason why this happens is because life itself is built incorrectly. People are not educated, not taught how to live. They're not taught that prayer is needed, nature is needed. I just ran 9 kilometers around your lake. I met 2 women there. They said, Dr. Torsunov, we recognized you. They were walking with sticks. We're here. There they are. You see, they're also energetic. Look, they're fresh, filled with strength just like me. Can you feel the freshness coming from me or not? Can you feel the strength, right? This is from nature, from your nature. I got charged by your nature. Every person should live like this. You should get charged by nature. Run in nature, get charged. Go to church, to the temple. You should learn to pray by yourself. What do people often do? They think, I should pay money, and they will pray for me. This is not very effective. You need to learn to pray by yourself. You need to make an effort by your heart in your relationship with God. Learn to do this every day. Then the heart is filled with this purity, and this purity is enough for your loved one. You also give something to them. You also give to your close person. And so gradually relationships are restored. This heat of love that exists at first between people is egoism, but then purity, respect, and loyalty appears. Relationships become pure. As the song goes, silver weddings, an unextinguished fire. It means the heart is burning. It's purity. Silver weddings, a heartfelt conversation. People's hearts are connected, linked. You can't even talk to each other. Do you have heartfelt, soulful conversations besides business and children? This is how I live. How do you live? These are my difficulties in life. What are yours? Leave me alone. Why are you pestering me? I've come from work. I'm tired. Let me watch hockey. There's no heartfelt conversation because hearts are clogged. They're not ready to open up to each other. There's not enough strength to love. To love means to open your heart, to trust, to show loyalty, to take care. It means deep relationships. This is lacking. This is only possible if you have purity and you give it away. You have it and give it away. You have it and give it away. And gradually he develops respect for you. Respect. He looks at you and thinks. As the song goes, I look into you like into a mirror, like into a self-reflection, and I see my love in it and think about it. Let's not pay attention to minor flaws in the mirror reflection. Love can be long, and life is even longer. Long means you don't pay attention to the minor flaws anymore. You take care. You see the highest, purest, brightest in a person. The heart rejoices. It's peaceful to live with the person. It's not scary to let them go somewhere. My wife lets me go all over the country, all over the world, and she's not afraid. Why? Because she doesn't pay attention to the minor flaws in me. She believes that I won't fall for anything. In the mirror reflection, you need to learn not to pay attention to the minor flaws. For this, you need to serve the elevated qualities of a person. For this, you should learn to think about God. Nature helps to live, good people help to live, but we don't use all of this. We're stuck in a loop. Work, children, home, family, more relationships with each other. We communicate more with each other and immerse ourselves in each other, and it leads to scandals, quarrels, divorce. We simply suck strength from each other. Strength fades away more and more because we live in a closed system. Children, husband, wife, it's a closed system, not replenished by anything. People focused on each other lose their energy. They spend energy at work, spend energy on each other, and they get depleted. First, fatigue appears. It is like feelings for the loved one are ending. I don't feel anything from him anymore. Then coldness appears further. Oh, why am I living with him? He's not my person. She goes to an astrologer and he says, you're incompatible. How did you even live together? That is not helping. The astrologer should not say such things. If they say such words, they should be punished because they help people destroy their families in this way. This is the system. It's the same for everyone. Thousands of people suffer the same way. It stems from an incorrect lifestyle. People completely lack knowledge about how love works, how it flows. You'll have love in your family if you give it to other people, sacrifice your love. You should give it. People don't know how to live correctly at all, so they immerse themselves in what they see. There should be switching to other things. That's it. You need to distract yourself. Don't look at all of this anymore. You have no strength. Engage your memory in your relationship with God. Immersion in spiritual reality. We need immersion in spiritual reality. And then, when a person immerses themselves in spiritual reality, they can perceive the world differently. When you immerse yourself in spiritual reality, you start seeking purity in people. You say, Dr. Torsunov, 40 years ago, we had such a city. It has always been and will always be like that. It's a pure and bright city. You are pure and bright people. Do you understand? You don't see each other that way, but we must learn to see it. And everything, the strength to live appears. You are filled with purity and continue to live. Rejoice in each other. Love one another. Loyalty comes from this, from the correct understanding of life. Fill yourself up and live, empty, then refill. No energy? Need to work overtime, go to earn money, buy a house. For whom? There was once a saint, I don't remember, but he was one of the Orthodox saints. Before becoming a hermit, he worked as a shoemaker. A nobleman came to him ordering boots. He said, make me boots that I will never wear out. The saint laughed and replied, of course I'll make them. He completed the order, and the nobleman left. A friend asked him, "Why did you laugh? Are you really going to make such boots?" "Of course I will. He'll never wear them out because he'll die tomorrow." He saw the man's fate. We often live foolishly without seeing the depth, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. It could happen that the house won't be needed. Who will need the house if he's no longer there? Money earned, but the house is no longer needed. That's the problem. We often put material above the spiritual. The family is falling apart. We should focus on it, not on an apartment. We need to accumulate the energy of love. If you've learned about this, you pray it will help them. They don't understand that this is how life should be lived. It hasn't hit them yet. It hit you, so you understand. If nothing had happened, you wouldn't be listening to lectures. Sometimes someone might be very educated and influential, making it hard for them to end up in such an environment. They might look up Dr. Torsunov online and think, "My goodness, what have I gotten into? Some kind of cult." They write all kinds of nonsense. We listen to it all. We fall for it. But we don't see the essence. That's how this world works. All the primitive things are easily visible. All the profound things are hidden, invisible. Ask. I've already given you the microphone.
Good evening, Dr. Torsunov. I wanted to ask you. Every time I talk to my mother for more than 10 minutes, it becomes difficult.
Our mothers can do everything in the world except they can't not grow old.
And with my father, I can't communicate at all.
Well, it's love. What to do? Love needs to be nurtured. It's hard for me to talk with my mom, too. She says, "Oleg, you're leaving again. Don't go to Ukraine. There's war." I say, "Mom, I'm not going to war." It's tough, I know. Just breathe deeply. Keep talking. Endure. Try. I just stand there. "Yes, Mom, yes, everything's fine." That's love, but love burns.
It's very difficult.
Yes, I know, this is love. This is love need. I need and want my son, I want my son. But one should want God and give to the son. It's just incorrect thinking. Attachment. Remember, the strongest love on earth is the love for children. There's nothing stronger, not even between husband and wife. No one has it as strongly as children. When children grow up, they no longer need their parents. Children love their parents. This love is fear. When there's no fear, there's no love. They grow up, start protecting themselves, and fear ends. After puberty, fear in a person ends. And so, there's no love, no fear, no love. At 17 or 18, they forget about their parents. That's how the world works. Young birds grow and fly away. People grow and move on. It's an asceticism practice to love parents. You need to maintain this asceticism practice. Force yourself, because when mom passes away, dad passes away. At that moment, you understand that you should have given them time. Repentance comes to the heart. And why didn't you give? Because you need to spend energy on it. It's not like you just go to mom and everything is fine. She immediately drains energy. Most often, if mom is wise, she prays. She won't drain energy. You'll always want to stick to her because she's self-sufficient, so to speak. Go on, son. Mind your own business. I'm doing fine. A wise mom, she doesn't need to. She's self-sufficient, but most often moms are needy. They want to enjoy their relationships. They drain energy. This means that you need to practice asceticism. Endure and communicate with mom. If you can't do it in person, then write her something. It's easier that way. Nothing can be done. This is how the world is designed. Everything you said is correct. That's how it is. It's the same with Dad. He's offended at you. Just offended. Why don't you visit us? Why don't you stay in touch? Why are you living your own life? He's hurt. He invested a lot in you when you were little. He invested a lot in you. Now you're grown up and you've forgotten all he did for you. We all forget everything. That's how this world is designed. Nothing can be done. We forget our parents.
Thank you.
Recently I was sent a video. A father and son sitting on a bench. Have you seen it? The father, a bit vision impaired, asks, "What is that?" "It's a bird," the son replies. He asked the son 5 times. The son finally says, "Dad, why do you keep asking the same thing? I'm tired." The father brings out a diary and says, "Read it." The son reads. When he was young, he asked, "What is that?" 25 times. Dad said, "It's a bird," 25 times. And he answered calmly without any problem. Young lady with glasses, your question.
Oh, I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect to ask you either. The Lord works in mysterious ways. I'll give you a tangerine.
Hello again. Thank you for giving us these lectures. To avoid burdening you too much, I'll try to keep it brief. We were together with my husband for 22 years.
Don't cry, everything will be all right.
Today would have been our 16th wedding anniversary. Yesterday he was here, listened to your lecture. He understood everything and said that we should separate again. We split up exactly a year ago.
Did the lecture have such an effect? Was it the opposite result? I thought I wanted people to come together.
I don't know. Then this morning, literally half an hour later, he started writing that I'm the best. the very best.
Of course, that's true.
But he needs to feel it with his heart. He understands it with his mind, but not his heart. I put him on a pedestal. I just want advice from you.
My advice is to love God, to become strong. You've lost yourself. You lost yourself in the relationship. You can't fall in love with someone that deeply. This destroys a person. No matter what you want to tell me, I'm telling you, that's how it is. It destroys a person. It destroys a person. You loved so strongly, that's it. Prayer is needed. He can't live next to you. It's burning him up. He's a good, kind person, but living with you drains him. Love God. Learn to do so. You will become strong and self-sufficient. You'll have the strength to endure relationships without losing yourself.
He just texted half an hour ago that everything will be fine.
Of course, everything will be fine.
After yesterday's lectures, we are returning to each other.
Everything will be fine. You just need to pray to God, and He won't have a chance to leave you. Not one chance.
Maybe I shouldn't torment him. You say he needs to be happy to let him go.
How can you not torment him? Then you'd have to torment someone else. Better to torment one than 10 men.
Thank you very much.
You'll have to torment someone. That's just how the world is, understand? Now I'm going to practice my accuracy. What questions do you have for me about overcoming fate?
Is running a marathon good?
No, running should start with enjoyment, listening to lectures while running if possible, and running a distance that isn't hard but is consistent. Start with 500 meters, run every day. After a week you'll run 600, then 700 and so on. After a year you'll run 5 kilometers, after 2 years 8 kilometers, and after 3 years 12 kilometers. My dears, run as much as you like, don't do more, don't force your body, it's bad. If you ran 8 kilometers and something started hurting after the run, not during the run, but after the run, your knee or spine started aching, don't be afraid. It's not that everything will wear out and you won't have a knee. This is healing. It will hurt for 3-4 months and then pass, then the next thing will hurt, then the next your whole body will ache, and then nothing will hurt anymore.
What if there's strong dizziness?
Then you need to run a little slower. If it continues, even slower. If it still continues, walk until the dizziness passes. If something starts hurting or you feel a sharp pain, stop. It's dangerous. Always stop when you start feeling better. It's better to at least walk. Do it so that everything passes. If you stop because of a sharp pain or ache, it means the body lacks energy for healing. The body has started healing, but there's not enough strength, so you need to keep moving until it's healed. You can't stop. Everything recovers. Menisci, joints. If joints have worn out, everything recovers. As soon as you start moving, everything grows, recovers. The body is a self-recovering system.
During prayer, my legs go numb.
If your legs go numb, change your body position. There's nothing wrong with that. If they go numb, it means this energy has accumulated but hasn't broken through in the body. This means the body is not yet ready for healing. Continue, and eventually the numbness will stop. In time, the channels will open, and everything will be normal. Any more questions about prayer?
During prayer, I see images of the holy people to whom I pray.
That's good. If you see images of your relatives, don't think about them, but focus on the holy people.
Is that normal?
Absolutely. You may even see a holy person.
Yes, it happens. I just get scared.
It's real. I once visited a sacred place where they revealed the relics of a holy person. After everyone left, I sat and prayed beside him, touched his feet, and sensed the fragrance from them. I attuned to him and actually saw this saint standing at the forest edge, radiating light. I even saw him as he was 500 or 600 years ago. He shone completely, looked at me joyfully, and gave me his blessing. The holy person showed himself to me in reality. It wasn't an illusion, but truly real.
You know, it sometimes feels as though the saint blesses the people I think of during prayer.
Of course. That's why saints exist. They live so that people can pray to them. They lived so that people like you could pray to them for centuries, and they will bless you. People don't realize where fortune comes from. Luck comes from these saints who lived on this earth. When you think of them, good fortune comes to your life. They live to bless you. Victory over fate comes.
Yes, that's true.
Everyone move forward.
Thank you.
What if a woman is on crutches and cannot walk?
She won't be able to do it, but she has to try. She needs minimal movement. Even if she's on crutches, she still needs to move, because without movement, there is no life. In cases where joints don't work at all, she should at least try to move her hands. I know one woman who is paralyzed. She can't move much, but she found a way to move at least her hands. Whatever can move, let it move, and she began to recover. Whatever you can move, move it. This is the principle of the movement of life, even if it's just fingers. By moving something, you start to heal. Valentin Dikul, he was completely paralyzed. Only his hands could move. He started working with his hands more and more, then his shoulders. He worked with that until eventually he could move fully. That's how the system works. If you want to live, live. If you don't, well, to want to live means to keep moving. But let me tell you one thing that destroys life. You go to a doctor and he says it's incurable. If you believe that, you're already 1 foot in the grave. You should always know this rule. If they've scared you about your health and you no longer want to run, walk, or practice asceticism, it means you'll never be cured. Only those who want to live, meaning to move, can recover. You can pray as you like, recite any prayer. One day you'll truly believe in God in one specific faith, and that will be most important for you. But other beliefs are also valuable.
I find it very difficult to speak, as I came here very distressed. Last night after the lecture, I went home, and my husband was waiting for me with a surprise. He wanted to talk and told me he has another woman with a child.
The lecture revealed fate.
A friend asked you about this, but I didn't know she was talking about me. My heart felt heavy. I went home, and he was waiting to talk. Now, I don't know how to get along with him. He doesn't want to leave. We have 2 grown children.
Now you see the amount of work ahead.
I see it, but I don't know how to go on living with him.
You need to live with God, not with a person. You see the work ahead. Go to the temple, stand before the altar, and begin praying. The first stage, calmness in your heart, feeling at ease. The second stage, influence. You can communicate with him calmly. That's the work. Third stage, changes in the person's heart. The fourth stage, you'll understand why this happened to you and its purpose. Some of it is from this life, and I know much is from a past life.
He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to leave.
If he doesn't want to leave, let him stay. Remember, in situations of betrayal, don't build a close relationship. Cook, clean, but no closeness. Don't let yourself become tainted. He's bound to another person. Pray to God, this is your test. This is the exam of your fate. Pass it, and you will eventually overcome it. This will be more valuable for your life than your husband. If you overcome your fate, it will stay with you in the next life. But you'll forget your husband in the next life. These obstacles that God puts in our way are necessary for your development. Now you felt the scope of work. For me to handle this kind of work, I would pray for 2 hours a day for 2.5 months, and the situation would resolve completely. For you, it's more. You see it as a lost life. I see it as a job to do. Because you don't understand this work. Prayer is the work of the soul. You don't understand how destiny changes through this work. I do. That's the only difference. Fate will always come to all people on earth, and to me too, and it does come. I just pray, and that's it. But you only suffer. That's the difference. Work hard, and everything will be okay. I've told you what to do, and I can see you'll succeed.
Thank you again for your work. I have a question. There are relationships that I want with a close person. I want them to be good relationships, but I can't manage to maintain these relationships.
Only distance and prayer. There are things that we cannot overcome in one lifetime. In your previous life, you committed a terrible act towards a close person. You're paying for it now, in your second life. And in this life, you likely won't be able to overcome it, maybe, but it's unlikely. Unyielding fate makes it impossible to even talk if you pray fervently. You might ease the situation, making it bearable, but this person will still bring suffering. Now it's unbearable, but you can make it bearable. Maybe you'll completely burn your fate, then I'll be very surprised. But the fact remains that there are types of fate that are difficult to overcome. Better to keep distance, pray, and approach it as a siege, not a direct assault. You won't be able to communicate with this person for at least 2 years, even if you pray intensely. You feel a heavy burden, lacking strength, unyielding fate. You can't do anything now, only distance and prayer. Sometimes we do things we can't overcome, and later, punishment arrives.